Blake,
Yes,
I
what?
got
Yes.
something I got to tell you.
Okay.
I just got home.
Why are we breathing heavy?
Because I just ran to tell you this.
Okay.
And
Why
I'm
did
out
you
of
run?
breath. I got home from work.
Okay.
I go to the front door to go inside my house where I live.
Okay. Thank God.
But I tripped.
What?
I tripped over a big box from craftbeerclub.com.
Oh my God, that's the one. If I was to trip over a box, if it didn't have a dead, a severed head in it, as long as it had beer in it, it's worth tripping over.
This is what I did. I went to craftbeerclub.com. All right.
Yeah.
I went to our show notes. I clicked through the link. Obviously, I'm not a dummy.
Right.
And then I got a discount, $10 off.
3 months.
Yeah, 3 months. I got a free connoisseur magazine. I got 12 different beers. Right.
Yeah, you got a bottle opener that doesn't bend the caps.
I got recipes for food pairings with the beers.
Right.
There's 2 different breweries, and they send you a couple beers a piece. It's fantastic.
You were probably so wore out from that you had to have 2 or 3 of those beers just to get yourself back to normal.
That's exactly right. Have you done this yet? Have you tried craftbeerclub.com?
I love it. It's the best.
It's the best money I ever spent in my entire life.
I didn't trip over it because I don't go in my front door.
Well, usually I run full steam at my front door, and such is the case this time that I fell.
So craftbeerclub.com, follow the link in our show notes.
It's the best deal in craftbeerclub.town. I tell you that.
Hey, great Christmas idea for your drunken friends.
Absolutely. Fakakta Comedy Funhouse Network. Yes. A big welcome to all of my friends. Welcome to Couch Pilots, the show that dares to fly into the unknown territory of awful television pilots of the past. My name is Jason, but you can call me the Black Knapsack, and across from me is my DIY camper. His name is Captain Phillips. Rest assured, good evening. I love you.
Hey there, Knapsack honey.
Hey there, DIY camper.
I am a DIY camper, right? You know, we didn't go this last summer because
That is crazy.
Because we bought this house with a pool.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm not fucking taking you kids out in the woods and sweat in a camper. I'm going to sit and drink beer and get in the goddamn pool.
And that's exactly what you did.
You're darn right I did, and I loved every second of it.
It seems like every year you got a new fascination in the summer, something that kind of takes hold of your time, your free time. Because that one year, you were like doing a lot of DIY stuff. I remember you made a toilet.
Yes,
right?
made a toilet.
Out of a bucket and like
5-gallon bucket and one of those pool foam things and a trash bag.
Yeah, that's the way to do it, right?
Yeah,
that's how you take a shit outside.
I'm not going to lie. I'm man enough to stand here right in front of you and say, Pinterest, sometimes I scour it.
Yeah, and that's what I've always appreciated about you is your honesty. Your pure, unadulterated honesty.
I've never lied to you.
Not once that I can
I
think
would
of.
never lie to you.
That's awfully sweet of you.
Would I lie to you, honey? Would I say something that wasn't true? I'm asking you, honey. Would I lie to you?
Who sings that song? Is that Buck Owens?
Asking you, honey, would you lie
James Brown. The Aphex Twins. No? You have no idea?
No.
You couldn't come to a conclusion?
I wish there was somebody in the room that knew that.
Well, there's you. And
Me
then
and Dupree.
Please welcome to the show, Dupree. No, we got a special guest today, thankfully, right?
Sure.
We love to take a flight where it's just you and I. We love our alone time. No doubt about it.
Right.
But sometimes we need something to spice it up.
And this is my favorite part, is usually when we have people on, you want to have 2 people on. And
I can't remember ever saying that.
And I'm always like, nope, I just want to have one person on at a time. And you are always like, you stomp your foot down, and you're like, 2.
I'll have to take your word for it, in which
Deuces.
case you've won today.
I have won. We have one guest.
One guest. One Rob. Rob, welcome.
Hello, how's it going?
Pretty good. How about you?
I'm doing well.
You look well. I love a good flannel. You're really rocking it.
It's my aesthetic.
Is it really? Are you a flannel guy through and through?
I am. Flannels and cat shirts. So
okay.
Oh, wow.
I'm there.
There's a cat in a suit.
When you came in earlier, I was like, is that the same shirt I saw last night?
It very well might
I
have
don't
been.
think it is.
No.
I think it's
It could have been a different one.
but equal cat shirt.
Yeah. This one's.
Do you have a cat?
I don't.
Are you living vicariously through your T-shirts?
I am, and various other cat ladies.
Is there a reason you don't have your own cat?
Not really. I don't want to deal with the cleanup.
That's smart. That's why I don't. I own a toad, and it's not a bit. I really do have a toad. It's a big like a big terrarium, and I don't have to do fucking shit for it.
Yeah.
It just sits
self-contained.
there. Yeah, I don't have to clean up hair
nice.
or shit. I don't have to shovel shit like I'm a fucking animal myself, right?
Right.
I make my kid do it.
No, that's smart.
Yeah.
Rob, you are on a podcast on the FCF network. What is it called?
FCF network. It's called the Fakakta Comedy Funhouse.
Okay, I almost said something different.
Yeah.
It's called UpperCut.
It is.
And now you also got one called Final Draft. Do you consider those two separate podcasts because they come out in the same feed? How do you conceptualize that?
It's more just like the channel is that, and then we'd separate the two shows.
Okay, so overall, your product is UpperCut,
right?
And you got Final Draft, and what do you call the other one then?
It's just our podcast. So
okay, because that's you mainly talk about video games and what have you on that one, right?
Right.
Okay, and how long you been doing that?
A little over a year.
And did you have any involvement with podcasts before that?
Nope, just listen to a lot of them.
Okay, what about you got 3 other guys that do it with you very regularly?
2 guys that are regular.
And 1 cup.
And 1 cup, yeah.
It's a lot of shitting and then drinking of said shit on your shows.
Yeah. There's a lot.
There's a very specific keyword.
There's a lot of saying it, that's for sure. If anyone's ever heard that.
You got some questions here?
Okay, yeah. So you guys are you're all video gamers.
Yeah.
And you've been video gamers since you were kids?
Yes, absolutely.
Is that how you guys became friends?
No, we all went to high school together, but we all play games together and all that. So
all right, that's cool. If you could only have one video game to play the rest of your life, what would it be?
That's a tough question.
That's really tough on a guy.
That's a hard question.
These
are hard hitting. I was not expecting this.
I'm Walter fucking Cronkite here.
look at the fear in his eyes. We invited him
sweating.
as a guest here.
I'm normally sweating, but now I'm extra sweating. Any video game, just one for the rest of my whole life?
Okay, just one you can play for the next month and a half and nothing else.
Oh, okay. Probably Legend of Zelda.
All right.
Link to the Past. Super Nintendo.
Switch. That's the Super Nintendo one.
Yeah, the old.
Oh yeah, that's
old.
great.
No.
I've played that.
See, I have a PlayStation 2.
Great console.
It's a great console.
I haven't bought a game in 20 years. Actually, the console's older than my youngest kid. I just don't play very much. Do you remember ever having heard of a game called Farmer's Daughter, and it was like a text-based game for like the Commodore 64?
No, that was a little bit before me.
God damn, I want to find if that's real or not.
I did grow up playing Atari, but that like Zork and all of those games are a little bit.
Oh, so you go way back to Atari even.
Yeah, that's like my first memory of playing video games was Atari.
I think my first memory was in this neighborhood I used to live in Peoria. Some older neighborhood kid had the original Super Mario Brothers for the NES, and I remember seeing that and be like, "What is happening?
This is
what
amazing.
Is this?" It blew my mind.
A TV show you can play.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
Yeah, I honestly I still have my original NES. Actually, I have the top loader, so I got the later version. Okay. I've got a ton of old consoles, but I don't play them anymore. They take up so much space. I don't want to get rid of them though.
Right.
Do you find that you keep all of your old stuff?
I don't. I'm more of a digital collector. Just for that reason.
Digital porn?
That too, yeah.
That's me too. We'll have to trade files.
Yeah. I have a whole vault.
He's an ex-hamster guy.
That's right. I'm getting called out super hard already.
No, he is.
Oh, okay.
Blake is. I don't know about you, but I think I do now.
The fear really swelled up in my eyes for a second.
Are they tracking me?
We've talked about that too, how like it's not taboo that we're looking at porn. We're all looking at porn.
Sure.
What I think the taboo is like, what specific keywords are you putting in? Because those things that arouse you are so deeply personal and private that I think those are the things that are taboo anymore. Do you guys?
That's why I'm concerned that they were talking about like people being able to buy your internet history and stuff. Like,
is that true?
It was like a thing that they were considering.
I am going to jail.
Yeah, I was like, I already have a couple friends that I'm like, if I die, throw my shit into a river,
burn everything,
burn all of it down. Clear my history.
Burn this motherfucker down.
Yeah.
Don't tell my parents.
Come over with an industrial strength, like mineral magnet.
Oh, yeah.
Rare earth magnet, just destroy my laptop.
Please.
About 45-pound magnet, just sit it right on your hard drive. Just
good luck now, chumps. Yeah. But I do love video games. I just don't find myself playing them anymore. One game recently that I think you guys have talked about that has kind of had some interest for me is the new South Park game.
Yeah. It's a decent game.
Yeah.
I would wait on it. If anyone is considered buying it and has not yet, I would wait until it goes on sale. But it's a funny game.
Better than the first one? Because you got the stick of truth, and then you've got the fractured butthole.
In terms of gameplay, yes. In terms of the story and the writing, it's a little worse, to be honest.
That came out pretty quick. in relation to the original one, which took forever to come out. Is that fair to say?
Well, this one got delayed like 2 years too. So.
Oh, did it really? Has it been that long for Stick of Truth?
It was supposed to come out like early 2016, and then it got delayed, and so.
I think we're losing Blake. He's not a video game guy.
But you know what? Even though I'm not a video game guy, I listen to Hyper Uppercut weekly, and I enjoy the banter. But they say RPG and all this other shit, and that's where I'm just like, what the fuck are you guys talking about?
Yeah, it's its own language.
My favorites are the final drafts. Those
are good.
Those are good concept.
Because honestly, you feel like you're sitting around with your friends because these are conversations,
and I don't have any. So this is great podcast for me.
This is awesome for you. But these are conversations we've all had with our friends, ranking this shit, and you just happen to be doing it in a more structured environment and for everyone to hear.
Right.
So it's a great concept for a show.
There's a lot of times where I just insert myself into the draft, and then when it's my turn, I say something, and if somebody says it after me, I'm like, "Hey, fucker, I already picked it," but they can't hear me.
So you're just talking to your phone.
Yeah,
that's smart.
It's not smart.
No, I think it's real smart.
Oh, okay.
I really like that. You've been doing it for a little over a year, you said.
Yeah.
The other guys you've been doing with it, did they have shows before this? What was their okay? So what made you guys, all three of you, come together who had never been part of a podcast before and say, I think we're going to start something?
I was very drunk. I listened to a lot of podcasts, mostly video game stuff. And I had been throwing around the idea of doing a podcast for a while, just because I used to be in bands and stuff, and it's kind of hard to get a whole band together with work schedules and things like that, and then not only be able to practice and make songs, but then play them and all of that. So I kind of threw out the idea of making a podcast. I told Jason, who was there, and Devin, who was also on the show, was there. And I threw that idea out, and they were on board with it. And
do
I said,
either of them play
roll
music? Or
No.
Okay. But see, when people talk about podcasting, because some people still don't know what it is, and I just say, it's radio, a talk radio on demand, basically, is how I describe it. And I say, for me, it's a creative outlet. And you being a musician, that is absolutely a creative outlet. And if you have trouble, organizing things or getting people, which it is very tough. My brother's been in a million bands, and that's the same story all the time, is you can never get it all together. This is a different and perhaps easier way to have that creative outlet.
Absolutely. And then it gives everybody a chance to express themselves.
Yeah.
Like a lot of times when you're writing songs with other people, it just doesn't work out.
A lot of conflicts.
Like, you're like, that part sucks. I don't want to play that. It sounds like garbage. But you don't have to worry about that. If they say something ridiculous, you can be like, well, that's not how I feel about it. So
did the video game version of Hyper Uppercut come out before Final Draft, or which one was first?
Yes, Final Draft is it's about half as new as the actual podcast. Devin kind of brought it up because they both play fantasy sports. And at first I was like, I don't know about this idea. I mean, I'll do it. And it's become my favorite part of recording.
Yeah.
Because it's a
lot of fun.
A lot of fighting, a lot of yelling at people.
What's
nice.
the best one you think you've done, like the one that you're most proud of?
The one that I laughed the hardest at was the one that we just released, the Fight Squad one.
Fights. Oh, yeah, I did listen to that.
Yeah, I broke myself laughing on that one.
Or you could have like real or fictional characters, right?
Well, it threw me off because it was like a super inside joke, so it won't be funny to anybody but me, really. But he picked one of our friends who swears he could fight two wolves. And that was one of his picks, and it made me laugh.
That's some Napoleon Dynamite shit right there.
It was very funny to me.
Fight them. You know what? What I would do is I would go get two wolves, go to his house, and knock on the door and say, all right, motherfucker, show us what you got.
Jason swears if he wins the lottery, that's the first thing he's doing.
Good deal.
He's like, if he dies, he dies.
I was gonna say,
I brought two wolves, but hold on. Let me do that again. I brought two wolves to your house. Did you die? That was not worth all the...
It really wasn't.
No.
Did you timestamp this so we can edit it out, please?
13:20.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you. Great story, Rob. I appreciate that. Something else that I want to talk about today, and another reason Rob is on, is that many of our frequent flyers, our frequent listeners of the program, know about the Pacinco machine.
Ah, yes, the Pacinco machine.
The fabled, not one now, but two Pacinco machines that we own here at Couch Pie. It's the 7,000-pound non-electrical machine that calculates everything number-wise concerning Couch Pilots.
Downloads, frequent flyer points. When you tell a friend, it calculates everything. It's constantly running down here in
Gross. What do you do? What is that?
Hold on. Did you hear that?
Yeah, you're a disgusting person. No, hey. Oh, I'm sorry.
Fuck me, right?
What are we going to get koozies that say "fuck me" right on it? That's your catchphrase, right?
It is my catchphrase because I fuck up all the time.
No, it's just because you think everyone's against you and everything. You think the whole world's trying to butt fuck you. when all we want to do is French kissing.
All we just want to do is stick a finger in.
How hard was it to record that Generation X video or that
Without swearing?
Yeah, I was very impressed.
He was blue the whole time.
Well,
I did listen to at the very end, and you were just like,
but the thing is there was a couple of times where I could feel that he was kind of like egging me in a way.
I love to tease him.
All right. Anyway, what?
I was saying the Pacinco machine.
Oh, yes.
We had one. We damn near broke it because it was running overtime. Thankfully, Big E...
Broke it, damn near killed it.
Fuck you, right? But thankfully, Big E, frequent contributor to the show, skin dove, which I think is when you dive naked. Is
Right. That's what he said. He said it was the better way to do it because he didn't want to get his clothes wet, is what he said.
Yeah, it had nothing to do with being aerodynamic or anything. He swam to the bottom of the North Atlantic and pulled the second Pacinco machine out of the sunken Titanic, and we've restored it, and now it's running overtime. But something else we talked about, too, is how much money we put in this podcast. We send out all these physical paper invoices for people so they can see
every month.
Yeah, all the credits and debits people have for their frequent flyer miles. We said there's got to be a better way, right?
And I'm like, we're in the 2000s, right? What's the hottest thing right now? An iPhone, right? What's on an iPhone? Apps.
There's an app for that,
There's
right?
an app for everything.
Got to download
There's
an
app for your blood pressure. There's an app for your sexual, where you want to find sex.
Yeah.
What's in between those two things? An app for the Pacinco machine.
Yeah, app.
Boom.
I heard app actually is short for application.
Oh.
So little word to the wise there.
Man, you are a wealth of knowledge.
Thank you very much.
it's a bit insidery.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. Note that. Cut that out of the podcast, please. What time is
Too
it?
insider.
1640.
Yeah, cut that out.
Okay.
Great story, Rob. Thank you. So what we want to do is we want to welcome Rob, not only being a member of the FCF Network and having an awesome show in Final Draft as well as Hyper UpperCut, but we're bringing him in today because Rob did something fantastic for the show, and that's he created an app for the Pacinco machine for all of our frequent flyers to use.
Sure.
I did.
It's wonderful.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about the app?
Oh yeah, I've been slaving on it for months.
Right.
A lot of coding.
Oh,
lot
and
of,
that's what I heard. What's worse? The worst thing about apps is the coding.
it is.
Coding.
I had to jam a lot of memes in there
Oh, jamming
because
the
you got to
memes.
have the memes. Like the kids like the memes.
Jam
so,
them in, buddy.
You got to throw those in there. It only works on Android 1.0 though, so I'm figuring it out.
It's fine.
We'll get it updated.
Get there. We'll get there. Don't
it's a
worry
first
about
step.
that. Yeah.
Is it? Can we use? They use it on the Cranberry. Isn't that one of them? Cranberry system.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
And there's also Raspberry Pi. I think.
Oh, Raspberry. That's what it is. Not
That's
Cranberry.
that's an exclusive market. I haven't broken into that one yet.
We're gonna get there. The funds are running. All the time that it frees up from the Pacinco machines and our invoicing, because we have a whole staff of people that do invoicing
Sure.
that DSJ is in charge of. That's going to free a lot of that up. It's going to go all digital. People can get on their Android 1.0 and they can look up the app and they can see where they are with their frequent flyer.
And one of the things that Rob put in, because he likes video games and stuff, so he's implemented this little game,
Right.
and it's got me and you, and we get on the airplane. But what it is, I've seen a game like this where it's an app where like you have airplanes and you're trying to take your finger and you're trying to
Put a little flight path.
to get them without crashing into each other. And he put one of those on there,
Yeah.
and it's funny because he was like, you guys, do you mind if I do this? I was like, hey, you're the one that's taking all the time. Go do whatever you want to do. But so it's something that you can do with the app besides just
And
check
you can earn
points.
frequent flyer points, albeit it's not as many as you would give for contacting the show or leaving a voicemail, but still you can get frequent flyer points for playing the game Flight Path.
Yeah, and getting a certain amount of the high score for the month, you get a certain amount of
Oh, you
points.
get a bonus, absolutely.
Rob did a great job.
So
I try.
You did. Yes, thank you so much for doing that. This is something we've been working on for a while, and it's finally come to fruition. We really appreciate
When
it.
will
I'm happy to do it.
When will the frequent flyers be able to get that on iTunes and Android?
In the Google Play Store.
Google Play Store.
Yeah.
I would say by December of 2018.
Oh, that's
It's
pretty
barely
real.
around the corner.
People think it's a long ways away. It's only over 12 months.
I'm already shopping for next year's Christmas, so you got to think ahead.
right.
Right, that's
And people don't understand building these apps, all the coding and everything. It takes a long time,
and
so
all the jamming of the emoticons
Oh,
and,
yeah.
everything, and the memes.
So many memes.
So it's completely understandable. I think I'm Jason. I'm going to speak for you, but
Please
Rob,
do.
I think that's a great goal. Let's try to get that December of 2018.
That's great. I appreciate it. I think our fans are going to love it almost as much as they love fan feedback.
Fan feedback. I need to have a song for fan feedback.
He sings like when he's not prepared to present the fan feedback. He will sing.
I wish I
the
could
whole
do
time.
that. I don't. Yeah. I don't have the voice that carries that.
Do it,
Yeah, he's got a beautiful voice.
All right, this is from our Instagram.
It's Instagram.
And this is Lori Garcia, and she shows a picture, a smiling picture. Beautiful young lady, the first lady,
the best.
First lady at Couch
She's
Pilots.
first lady at Couch Pilots.
It says, "Thanks, JT from Couch Pilots Podcast, for sending me this kick-ass book. He knows the rest of my life I'll be a crazy cat lady, just like The Simpsons. I love it. Hashtag Couch Pilots Podcast. Hashtag Crazy Cat Lady. Hashtag Booksagram. And then hashtag, what is that? Lori Nerd." So
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was talking to her one time, and she's like, "I am insane, and I have 1 million cats." And then I found a book from like the 20s about cats. I was like, "I'm gonna send you this book."
that's nice of you.
Yeah.
And you, if I'm not mistaken, you didn't charge her any frequent flyer points at all.
Absolutely not. That was gratis.
Did you guys see? I got a picture of me making out with my dog.
It's pretty gross.
Got 36 likes, motherfuckers.
How many likes did you get for the last post of Couch Pilots?
2.
Is that all we have for fan feedback?
That's
this
all we
week?
got.
That's all we need. Before we board the plane, that is.
Ladies and gentlemen, the captains have turned on the fasten seatbelt sign.
Failed pilots. You've heard of them. You might even be aware of them. They're out there in the night waiting to be invited in like so much vampire. And that's where we come in. Oh, my God.
Rob, do you watch a lot of TV?
Not so much anymore. I watch a lot of YouTube, but there's a lot of TV on YouTube, so
Do you know what to do, Tube?
I do.
All right.
I should have been prepared for that. I knew it was coming, but I
Knew it was coming.
He's like, it should have been a couple of segments from now. But you know what? That's fine.
He's got a list of all the stupid catchphrases we have. He's
Yeah.
like, when is he going to hit these fucking... He's playing catchphrase bingo with this fucking show.
Right.
well, I wrote them all on my phone, but I'm in airplane mode right now. So
Oh,
Smart.
very
Smart
smart. We are thinking about getting into where you can text, like Delta right now.
Yeah.
Delta, you can text for free. You know, on Facebook Messenger or some whatever the iPhone thing is. I don't know.
well, this is a lot nicer plane than any Delta plane I've ever been on.
Well, thank you very
And
much.
you guys didn't charge me for 2 seats, which is something that I often get charged for. I'm a very large guy.
Well,
so
it's that or seatbelt extenders, which we don't have. So we just...
I like to
We're
live
just going to
dangerously
tell you to
anyway.
hold on.
Yeah.
yeah. Just, how's your grip?
We've had 7 people in this cockpit before. We didn't release that episode, but we've had 7 people in this cockpit before.
That's fully loaded.
That's a good question. You ever have a nightmare of a show recording that you didn't air?
Oh, yes. Several. A lot.
And those are just for you.
We've
right?
actually been podcasting for 9 years.
The first day, they're like, fuck this, scrap it. We've been there, my friend. Today we discussed a pilot episode of Daddy-O from the year of our Lord, 1900, Ad 61. Great year.
I was not alive.
I wasn't alive either. That's funny you should say
Rob?
that.
I was.
Oh, you were?
Holy moly.
Yeah. I'm very old.
Wow. Well, in a minute here...
You look great.
You do.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. In a minute here, we're going to...
It's the cat shirt.
It is.
cat
Keeps
don't
me
crack.
young. That's right. That's what they always say.
He's got 9 lives.
Cat don't
That's why
crack,
he
baby.
wears cat shirts. He's got 9 lives.
We're going to talk in a minute here about popular things that happened back in that year so we can like put our minds back in that time. But it sounds like since you were alive then, you may be able to contribute even further than what we have, right?
There was a lot of drugs going on back then.
That's
so
true.
All right, so at the very least, you can claim you were alive then.
Right.
What you
I
remember,
think.
that's something else. Okay. But we do this because 1961, Blake wasn't alive. I wasn't alive. Your brain was fried on drugs.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not fair to judge the pilot that we watched based on our non-experience of that time frame.
Sure. We can't look at this pilot in regards to the year 2017.
No.
Because we have CGI,
Yeah.
Courtney Cox, and Band-Aids.
Physically, we can't go back there. But what we can do is go back in our minds. Check that off your bingo list. 1961, the Peace Corps is established. U.S. President John F. Kennedy establishes the Peace Corps during March. Kennedy issued the executive order, 10924, which created the group as an agency within the State Department. The Peace Corps works to train young Americans in community development efforts and then deploy them around the world as helpful volunteers in developing countries. Their intended goal was to promote democracy, freedom, and peace by building positive American influence around the world, acting as a counter-effort against Soviet groups promoting communism during the Cold War. So
I think we can mark that as a great success in the year 2017.
Yeah. You know what, Kennedy? Good job.
We squashed communism,
You did
right?
We squashed communism with the Peace Corps.
That's funny though, because I didn't know that the Peace Corps was basically a reaction to Russian activity.
I have no idea.
I did not know that either.
I didn't know that. You guys,
For every action, there's an equal and opposite
Peace
reaction.
Corps? Oh, right. You guys ever been in the Peace Corps? Know someone who's been in the Peace Corps?
I was unaware that it was still around, so no.
Okay.
Captain
Rest assured?
I don't promote peace.
Okay. So what kind of corps would
It's
you?
a hard stance.
What was the question?
That's a bold claim, sir. What kind of
Corps would I be involved in?
Yeah.
Fucking hardcore.
So you got the Peace Corps, but alternatively, you promote hardcore.
Hardcore parkour.
Nice.
And what does that organization do?
Oh, we just run through parks and jump off walls and then fuck each other.
Jeez. In public?
That's an intense.
That part is up to you
That's
and your
hard-
partner.
That's hardcore.
Yeah. Well, that's nice. At least you give them the option of consent.
right.
That's good.
I'm not Louis C.K. here.
What
Wow, that
you
was.
have any affiliation with communist Russia?
Oh no.
No. Okay. So this is a completely separate entity about running through parks and having public sex.
With consent.
Consensual.
Don't forget that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I like that very much.
You can join if you want.
I'll think about it. Actually, you remember what I told you last night? It's funny about joining things. I was at my grandma's house the other day, and we got a mystery envelope. It said resident on it. It didn't have her name. And then it says from Orland Park. So, and my grandma was like, I don't want to open this. And I was like, just open it. She's like, no, I don't know what it is. I might take it down to the police station. I was like, oh, relax, old lady.
Could be anthrax.
Yeah, it's like, relax, you
Love that band.
Relax, you old fucking bag. So I look up the return address, and it says Orland Park. It's got a P.O. box. And when I put it in there, it says it's an application for the Keystone Knights, which is an affiliation to the Ku Klux Klan.
Holy shit.
So we open it up, and they're all talking like, "Oh, we got to take it to the police." I'm like, what are you gonna do?
Yeah. They can send out mailers. They're not threatening. Yeah. It's just an application.
It's silliness because honestly, the writing on it looked like it was a 5-year-old.
And it probably
was in crayon?
It was completely in crayon.
It probably was. They probably had their little 5-year-old kids write them all the addresses.
It was a
out.
burnt sienna, if I'm not mistaken, and it was
Macaroni and cheese orange.
yeah, that's right. And it was like, so I was like, I almost feel bad for the person that had to write this because it looks like they are mildly retarded and like they've been coaxed into this awful organization. Anyway, I digress.
Stay away from the KKK.
Disney releases their first live-action music film, Babes in Toyland. The film premieres during December. Babes in Toyland was created by Walt Disney and was the first live-action musical to be produced by the company. The film starred Ray Bolger, Tommy Sands, Ed Wynn, and Annette Funicello. The Mother Goose-themed musical focused on the evil character of Barnaby's plot to derail the upcoming marriage between the characters Tom and Mary in an attempt to further his own romantic agenda. Despite heavy promotion, the film was considered a flop for Disney, but it received 2 Academy Award nominations for Best Costumes and Best Music. Babes in Toyland, do you remember that?
I don't remember it, but Annette Funicello, I would
Met a milk bone out to that?
hard pound town.
Yeah.
Rob, are you a Funicello fan?
I have no idea who that is, to be honest. I just don't. If you can look up a picture, I'd be so.
She is
happy about
1960s
it.
smoking hot. It was her and I can't remember the guy, but I think the guy's still alive. Maybe it was basically these 2 kids as teenagers. They would do a lot of surf movies, a lot of those like shitty surf movies.
Yeah.
Who was it? It was Annette and who? You remember?
The guy,
Yeah,
he was. Yeah, they were actually in a relationship.
I'm sure they were.
She was also on the Mickey Mouse Club. Annette Funicello was on the Mickey Mouse Club.
Oh yeah, okay.
Parkour,
Oh,
right?
yeah, definitely.
Good looking.
Consensually.
Good, yeah. I would have sex with Annette Funicello with consent.
But don't have sex with her here because she would be underage. But she's playing a banjo.
Debatable.
Debatable whether or not he would. Now, it's confirmed that she's underage. Babes in Toyland I know as a grunge band from the 90s. You guys know Babes in Toyland?
I don't. No. That's odd that I wouldn't know
It's
that.
an
I was
all
into grunge for a while.
female group. I think out of Seattle.
Oh,
Just
okay.
kinda-
So it was basically Hole. Weren't they also a female grunge band from Seattle?
I would say Babes in Toyland has more cred than Hole. Hole's kind
That's
of
fair.
just
More
drafted.
what than what?
Cred?
Cred?
Credibility.
Street cred?
Street cred.
Okay.
Right. Babes in Toyland, though. Like, in that time, they say, we got Pinocchio. We got Bambi, right? We got the
Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
Absolutely. But here's a live-action film. They stuck their neck out, and it was a flop.
Was the first one that was probably successful then was
Maybe that one. I was thinking maybe Mary Poppins.
that's what I was trying to say was Mary Poppins with Dick Van Dyke.
Yeah.
What about Song of the South? Wasn't that like hybrid live action?
Now is that the highly racist
Yes.
one? I don't know how much of a success it was, but
Back in that time, though,
maybe that came right after
racism
this
was
one.
all the rage back then.
Everyone was.
Everyone was
Loved
doing
the
it.
racism back in the 60s.
This country was a big
The
fat
Peace
goal.
Corps, man, I'm telling you, it worked.
Right.
Finally, for 1961, bomb shelters. President John F. Kennedy advises American families to build them. This is what I think, bomb shelters. I think of like California, backyards. You got a bunker underground, cement blocks.
Cans of beans.
Yeah, I think a can,
Beef jerky.
big cans of beans.
Beef jerky. Guns.
Yeah.
Guns.
Do you guys have that in you at all to be like a survivalist in case of the end of days?
No,
Like,
definitely not.
I have a friend who's got a duffel bag, and it's got everything in it that he needs. This big fat duffel bag. It's got clothes, food, water, money, weapons, batteries. It's got all this shit, first aid stuff. And he says, if something happens, I can grab this and go. I'm not ready for something like that. Are you?
I don't. I think I would make it longer than you probably, but
Because of your DIY camping?
I wouldn't be as prepared as him.
Okay.
But I'm in the middle of these two.
You definitely have a toilet on standby, which is nice.
Yeah,
you want
that's-
that.
that's good.
in that situation.
I think the duffel bag, if done properly, could double as a toilet.
Yeah.
I would like to think that if the apocalypse started, that I would just instantly die. Like I would be raptured to heaven. Like nothing bad would happen to me. I would just like be raptured because I don't want to live through that. I don't want to see
what
the
I'm saying.
horrors that
Right.
an apocalypse would bring.
Would you off yourself then?
I really have to. It would depend on the type of apocalypse taking place. I think
I'm going with a hard yes, regardless. The internet has
first
spoiled
sign
me.
of trouble. You're killing
30
yourself.
seconds without internet porn, I'm done.
Right.
I'm done.
He's like, life's not worth living.
I keep a gun under my keyboard in that specific scenario.
I'll ask you for the last time, Rob. Please turn off your phone. 1961. Boy, I tell you what. If talking about internet pornography and killing yourself doesn't take you back there, I don't know.
I don't know what would. I'm there.
I
Annette
know-
Funicello.
I was negative 20. I was the age of negative 20 come 1961.
I was negative 14.
I was young.
Well, because you were alive. So
Yes.
you
He was a
just-
positive
Brain was
number.
flied, but I was young. 13, I think.
Blake, why did we choose to
I got into
watch-
drugs really early.
I guess so. It was like, woo, 13, I was still playing with G.I. Joes and thinking about sticking them on my butt.
Good Lord.
Just thinking about it?
Well, it was
Scarlet?
it was Cobra Commander
Get that smooth head.
with the cloak.
The
you
smooth,
go.
shiny
Yeah.
head. that goes in.
Exactly. Because you had to send away
I feel you.
for it anyway. Right? It was
Did
a
you?
special one. Oh yeah.
I don't know about that.
You had to have proofs of purchases and you had to send them in to get the Cobra Commander. The one with the cloak over his head.
Didn't know that.
The Jesus cloak that we talked about last
You
week.
were the target audience.
The Shroud of Turin. Why did we choose to watch Daddy O?
3 simple criteria. First, it had to be a failed pilot. It did not go to series. Whether it aired or not is irrelevant, but it could not go to series. Number 2, we had to find it on the interwebs. That's the only place that we watch porn and failed pilots. That's all we watch. And finally, it had to be free because just like porn, we are not paying for a failed pilot.
That's right.
Yeah.
Porn refuses to pay for a failed pilot. Why should we? Right?
Exactly.
The next step is like, great. I've got the pillars of couch pilots, right? I know what the show's about. I've been back to 1961, but where do I find the pilot? We can do so by subscribing to Couch Pilots and Apple Podcasts or your favorite podcast app of choice, and then simply click on one of our classically blue links in our show notes, or go to YouTube. Rob?
You know what to do, Tube.
Very good.
Oh, boy.
Flight attendants.
It was touch and go for a second, but he pulled it off. He's got improv in his blood.
Improv in the blood. That would
Improv in the blood.
Now, is that what was wrong with Magic Johnson?
Yeah,
I believe so.
Yeah. If we could all afford to get rid of our AIDS blood by going to France and getting transfusions.
Would you donate it
The
to
blood,
those in need?
the AIDS blood?
Yeah. There's a lot of people with AIDS that probably still need blood transfusions.
That's true. You know what? I didn't think about that. Yes, I would.
That's
say,
an untapped market, I feel like.
Oh,
It's a $1 million idea right there.
I'm with you on that. I completely
Patent
agree.
pending.
Yeah. Hashtag trademark, whatever. Good job. Rob, I like that idea.
Oh, I like it too. Summary of the pilot. From 1961, Daddy-O is a sitcom pilot filled with twists. Huh.
I would disagree with filled with twists, but there was one.
There's one big fat twist, you think?
I don't even know if it was that much of a twist.
I don't think it was filled.
What was it? What would you think would be a better summary?
Daddy-O is a failed pilot from 1961 that takes a behind-the-scenes look at television making and family.
A satirical behind-the-scenes look, even, some would say.
Satirical. Oh.
Pretty good.
Hey, I can't do gold every time.
No, it would be silly to ask for that.
That's what I tell Molly. Molly, sex this time might not be so good. I will get a good one time, but there's going to be about 6 of them that aren't good.
Temper your expectations.
Yeah, right. If you expect me to fucking make you orgasm all the time, you're just disappointing yourself, and you know what? You're disappointing me.
Wow. That's good to set expectations, right? Early and often.
Low. Early,
Yes.
often, and low.
Interesting facts.
Ooh. Rob, are you aware of interesting facts and the rules involved in that?
I wasn't.
Okay. Interesting facts. It's just the name of a segment. Apple Podcasts, as you know, because you're a podcaster, wants you to name all your segments. And
Oh, we don't do that.
well, you know what? Then you're a rebel.
That's right.
We abide by the rules. Jason's going to give you some facts. He scoured the internet and looked for facts about Daddy-O. Now, what you need to make sure that you don't do during this is when he says one, don't say it's interesting. They're facts. They're not going to change, whether you think they're interesting or not. We advise the people at home, don't look at your partner and say, this is an interesting fact. It's best just to leave them lie as they are. So, and Jason, believe me, Jason gets very temperamental if someone breaks this rule.
Yeah.
I've never personally done it, but I know people that have done it, and it's not good.
Now, I will stop you right there and say you have done it many times. You have broken the rule on, I would say, a minimum of 10 occasions.
10 out of 100, it's only 10%.
Ain't bad. Yeah, that ain't bad.
Yeah.
I think Meatloaf said 2 out of 3 ain't bad. So by the law of Meatloaf, I think you're doing pretty
Oh,
well.
I'm doing great.
Yeah.
I'm a Hall of Famer. So, Rob, if you would ingest these in your mind, do whatever you want with them, but don't tell anybody what you think of them.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Whew.
The budget, $10,000.
For the whole pilot?
Fact. $10,000. Man. Lead actor, the character of Ben Cousins, played by Don DeFore, you may recognize from other shows such as Ozzie and Harriet or Hazel. Mm-hmm. Do you recognize him from that?
Yeah.
Do you really? So you're really learned.
Well, I used to watch a lot of Nick at Night.
Okay. Yeah. The king of black and white, Nick at Night, right? His son, played by... Actually, was this his son? I'm sorry. Let's see. This is a boner on my part. No, this is... Okay, the agent, Albert Shapian,
Okay.
played by Lee Phillips, you may recognize from The Andy Griffith Show.
No.
Did you watch any of that?
Not really.
No? Okay. All right. There's not a lot of facts here.
Oh.
That's why I'm kind of beating around the proverbial bush. Jean Byron starred as Polly, which is the wife. Mm-hmm. You like that?
I'd take it to Pound Town.
So you may recognize her from The Patty Duke Show. No? That's it for interesting facts. There's not a lot.
Well, those were some amazing facts.
Okay. And you know what? The section is over, so I will grant you that leeway.
That was close.
It was very close.
That was the hair of a dog.
It was like, when the door closes and you hear that little snap of the spring? Like you said,
I curved
right
it.
after. Yeah, you really.
I curved it.
I people have been guests here before and have commented on the facts, and I don't care who you are. You could be Donald Trump, the best president this country's ever had, sitting right here, and you could say something about facts, and I'd let him have it. Yeah. So,
Rob, I commend you for having balls. I mean, you just like
just in general.
yeah. You know what? Whenever I see a fella and I'm like, you know what? You got balls? You're like, yeah. Like, nice.
You got great nuts.
I commend you for that.
These nuts.
These nuts. Twitter responses.
Twitter responses. I hope Jason got some Twitter responses.
I don't. They're all dead. Listen to Let's Try This.
Hey everyone, this is Steph from Let's Try This, your new favorite podcast. My co-host Kevin and I don't always have a lot in common, but we do happen to be married to each other, and we're not afraid to get a little passive-aggressive.
That's just what I think.
Are you serious?
Well, okay, Mrs. Perfect.
Every week we discuss stuff like professional wrestling, reality TV, pop culture, and life as newlyweds, but that's just the beginning. You can always expect us to try new things, hence the name. So buckle up and join us every Thursday for some fun and maybe even some fights on the Fakakta Comedy Funhouse Network at fcfnetwork.com and everywhere you find podcasts. Let's try this because you just might like it.
And maybe some fights. I would say, without a doubt, there will be some fights on that show.
Lots of fights. They're back. They took a little bit of a hiatus, but they're back and loving that they're back. Loving those two. I just want to hug them.
You know what I like to do? I like to play Let's Try This on my Bluetooth speaker at home, and then I put it in my bedroom, and then I go to the living room and listen to it. And I like to pretend that I'm hearing a conversation like through a wall for my
like your
neighbors.
next door neighbors.
It's nice.
Yeah, and it's exactly like that because they will. I think there's times where there's been fist fighting on that show.
It's one of those things where you just kind of wait and go, okay, I'm not going to call the cops till I hear somebody get hit.
Great show, fun. They talk about professional style wrestling. They talk about reality television programming
And just what's going on in their lives.
Yeah.
As a newly married couple.
You don't get a lot of like super deep insight like you and I fuck around a lot, right? But these guys really are talking about what's going on with their lives. It's a good listen. They did, like you say, take a little bit of a hiatus, but they're back full swing, and it's every Thursday, right, on the FCF network.
Exactly.
So check it out. But right now, what we're going to do is we're going to check out the pilot. This is what we do here, Rob. We're going to talk about the pilot in its entirety. Thank God it's only 30 minutes long. And we're going to try to cut that in half, hopefully. And then anything that you want to add or chime in, please do.
Yeah, just bust in whenever you want, because otherwise...
Fair enough. I'll elbow my way in.
That's fine. Black and White, typical sitcom, wholesome family. Heavy laugh track, right?
Super heavy. To the fact that when I saw this and I saw them going through and showing how they add the laugh track, I was like, Jason's head is probably fucking exploding right now, because one thing I've learned the past 2 years of doing this show with you, you hate the laugh track.
Do not care for it.
Yeah.
I understand it's a trope of the past. I think it is slowly going away. But it is heavy here, and it looks like a typical sitcom when you start, right?
Yeah, it was a smash intro too. I thought I had actually cut like into the video on accident. I kept like rewinding it.
Yeah, I kept thinking that I was
like,
it's like, oh,
we're in there.
We're not. Yeah, it was like, hey, this girl at the dinner
It was like mid sentence too.
Oh yeah, it was a girl at the dinner table. She's like, nobody understands me. I was like, whoa,
what did I miss?
we shouldn't have cut that part out.
This link should not be galvanized classically blue. If someone fucked up, we did not fuck up. This is totally. Part of the show. In this little scene, Daddy-O gets up to like show the kids that he can dance. Daddy-O is the name of the father of the show.
And the Holy Spirit.
Amen.
You missed the classic butter in the elbow in the butter scene. Yeah. You skipped over that.
I'm sorry. Yeah, it's
Rob, I wrote it down.
Thank you.
Elbow in the butter. He just pushed me past it, so you know what? I'm with you.
It was a lot of like goofy little things like that where the audience was just, they've never heard anything so funny in their entire
Yeah.
life.
It's like the Big Bang Theory. That's exactly what I thought.
Are you a fan of that show?
No, I hate it.
I love you, Rob.
It's like the worst show I've ever watched in my life.
So the daughter wants
hold on, Blake. You like the Big Bang Theory?
I haven't watched it in many years.
Okay.
I did enjoy it at times, but I haven't watched it in many years.
And that's fine. You can enjoy things, and I will not.
I haven't
shit on you for
enjoyed
that.
it in many years.
And some people like Nickelback, man. It's all right.
Oh.
Dude, you're in that category. You got to get out of there.
Somebody said nickel.
So the person who's watching Nickelback said, "You know what?
Stop saying the word.
I just heard the new Nickelback album, and now it's time to turn on 2.5 Men, but not before I catch up on the latest episode of Big Bang Theory."
Big Bang Theory. Anyway, so basically, this girl wants to go to the school dance, and the dad's like, "I'll go with you. I can dance. I used to do the swing dance or whatever,
The foxtrot.
the foxtrot.
Can really cut a rug, baby.
I can do the box step. I can do one swing dance. It's called the Prinzel.
Oh, I'd love to see it.
I can only do it with one person.
Me?
No, there's only one person because I've ever done it with
Who's that?
Alabama. My friend Alabama.
I don't know.
We used to do it. We used to do it at Chantilly lace and a pretty face and a ponytail hanging down. So the daddy-o gets up to show that he can do the foxtrot, and he falls on a skate.
It's right in the middle of the floor.
A metal
very,
skate.
Very clear and plain to see, but a roller skate. And then his wife comes in, and she's got like a pie, and she like throws the pie up in the air.
She
She's
was
so distraught.
mortified.
Oh, yeah. And did you notice that the daddy-o's son, who left his skate there, really needed to have some orthodontic work done?
No, I did not notice
Oh,
that.
my God. I was like, buddy, guard your grill. Knuckle up, right?
I thought this whole scene was silly and
I didn't know
stupid.
I didn't know what was going on.
I didn't either.
No
I was
one
like,
did.
God, I hope the show's not like this for 30 minutes.
But because it was a hard cut in, so I didn't
Yeah.
know if I was like, is this what I'm supposed to be paying attention
Right.
to? Do I need to write all this stuff down? What?
But then it cuts to like a control room where Mr. Shapian, who's the producer of what we just saw, he's creating this sitcom. He's putting it together, and he's like adding in female voices in the laugh track or
Yeah,
something.
and he's very aggressive
Yes.
with the knobs.
Very, yeah.
really
It's like
manhandling.
cranking levers. And
I was like, what is this,
I don't know.
Oz? Is he behind a green curtain?
But it's revealed that it's kind of a meta show that we're watching,
Yeah.
right? Which is bizarre. The summary mentions a twist, and I would say definitely this is the twist of this program, right? Because
Yeah.
I don't know that this was a thing back then. You saw a lot of cheesy Ozzy and Harriet type shows, and this is kind of looking at sitcoms from a different angle.
yeah.
I would say that maybe Dick Van Dyke was kind of like that in the fact that he worked in television, maybe. And so there was a lot of like writer's room kind of stuff,
Yeah.
maybe.
Okay. The star of the sitcom happens to be sitting in the same room. Again, his name is Ben Cousins, and he looks embarrassed by what he just saw. He's like, why am I doing this? This is like shtick. This is cheesy. It's cruddy television. Why am I doing this? Right? He's embarrassed to be a part of it. So and then Ben Cousins, it cuts to him talking directly to the camera. He says, I'm a reluctant television actor, and my hobby is construction. It's being a carpenter.
Rob, what did you think of whatever was sitting in front of him that was half built? Did you think that was a dollhouse, a doghouse, or what was that?
I thought it was a dollhouse, but he did say doghouse at some point, so it was definitely a doghouse.
Very confused, and it was not well.
There was a lot of architecture going on there, but the wood was very thin.
very thin wood, a lot of architecture.
And he stresses the fact that he was a master carpenter, like at least 7 times in the show. So
right.
I'm
I was
skeptical.
I was like, I think if someone went, it would blow this thing over. It was made of like popsicle sticks.
I didn't hear the dollhouse, doghouse discrepancy. I just heard, like, this is my passion. This is what I love. And I was like, he loves building dollhouses? Like, what are we talking about?
He breaks the fourth wall, and he's talking right to the camera, right to you.
Yeah.
So just in like the first 5 minutes, I've got a show that's already in the middle of it. I don't know what's going on. Then I see the backstage cranking of levers and to make laugh tracks, and then all of a sudden I see a guy talking to me, and I am confused as fuck.
Same, like it was 3 different moods too. It was like the super shtick comedy, and then there was like the satirical, like I hate being in this industry, this show sucks, and I don't like this type of stuff.
Yep.
And then it was like wholesome family. Right after that, it was like I'm a real man with a real career that I used to like.
A trade.
Yeah.
He said he's quitting. He's like, I'm not doing this show anymore. And this is one of the times where he mentions he's a master carpenter.
If I were a carpenter and Polly
The
was a
show is
lady,
built on the back of his songs.
she would vacuum my car while I play with my popsicle stick. R.I.P. Johnny Cash.
The producer is excited for the second season, and he will not accept the fact that Ben is quitting the show. He kind of keeps talking over him or talking around what he wants to say. He's basically saying, a producer, what he does is he sees dollar signs, right? And so he's like, this show is making money. You're America's father. Why would you quit? We're going to have a great second season. I'm excited for it.
Right. And that's like, you've tried to quit this podcast 4 or 5 times.
Almost every week.
And I just bulldoze right through it.
I hate being here, but somehow you keep talking me into it.
Rob, do you find that with your podcast that the guys are just like, I don't want to do this week, and you're just like, shut up, you'll be at my house, and I don't fucking care.
Yeah,
you have to
week.
do that.
Yeah,
and that's what this producer was. He was like, I'm not going to let Daddy-O just quit.
Yeah,
that's right.
What's the first saying of podcasters? Never quit.
That's what we always say, right? That's our motto. It's
every week.
Every week.
This is never quit every week.
Yes, that's the full one.
Yeah.
We tend to shorten it in the industry.
We got that painted on the inside. So he's back. He's at home. Ben is with his actual wife, and she doesn't want him to quit either. They're having this discussion outside while she's trying to vacuum out their vehicle. Right.
Right. Her name is Polly.
Mm-hmm. She's a good-looking woman too.
Yeah.
You can tell they had a really good life too because they have an outside vacuum cleaner, like an extension.
Oh, yeah, there was
outside.
a plug-in in the middle of the garage doors.
It's amazing.
In the brick.
That was a weird placement for the plug, wasn't it?
I was like, nice job, guys.
They made it.
But she keeps vacuuming, and he keeps unplugging it so they can talk. And she's like, no, I want you to stay working on this. No, I think I want to quit. I want to go back to carpet. And eventually she's kind of like, you know what? If you really want to quit, that's fine. I don't think you should, but as your wife, I support you, right?
Right.
He says, you're a great actor. You get fan mail. You're respected. I'm happy with you and your career. But he's I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, he's like, well, it's gonna change things for you. And she's like, do you remember when you were a carpenter? I cooked, cleaned, I volunteered all these places.
At the Red Cross,
right? While
you're building these popsicle stick
houses. And with the Grey Club at the hospital. I don't know what that is, but
it is
but basically she's saying, I did that before you were an actor. I've done that since you've been an actor. Whether you do it or not doesn't change my life.
Yep.
Which is not the way my wife would have talked.
What would your wife say?
Get your ass on screen, motherfucker. Paychecks,
we need
bitches.
this money. We need more outlets outside of our house.
Right.
How am I going to keep these popsicle sticks coming in? Well, that'd be great. Like if the show went to where he was no longer an actor, and you saw him build houses, and they literally were out of popsicle sticks, and he'd like have his hands full with a very satisfied look on his face.
He's like,
and
I'm a
just be
master
a huge piece of
carpenter.
shit.
And then you have like red around his lips because he was eating all the popsicles.
And you have a bunch of shitty jokes that he read off the sticks.
Shitty jokes on a stick.
One thing I loved about that scene was the fact that he tripped over the cord at some point and it unplugged, and then he just plugged it back in. It was just like one take.
Yeah.
Nope, just leave it in.
Well, they only had $10,000.
Yeah. Clock's ticking, Ben. Come on.
They cut back to fourth wall, and he wants to have a conversation with his kids. He has 2 boys, I believe, and for some reason he thinks it's important to talk to them about his career choices, which to me, fuck that.
Yeah.
And he's trying to talk to his boys, but they're like, hey, we're going surfing with the babes or whatever. And like, we don't have time to listen to you. Or
one kid had no shirt on the whole scene.
Yeah. I thought that was odd. I was like, for 1961, that was odd.
Is that a budget issue, you think, Rob? Where they just
it might have been. Well, he had those long shorts on, so maybe half of the shirt money.
Pull them up. Pull them up.
Pull them up till your balls.
Yeah, they're there with some broads, and the broads are hot for the fellas, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, the little girl is the little blonde girl. She's a little ugly girl. She's going to grow into something someday. You can tell. Yeah. But she's in love with the younger one. And then the creepy, no boundaries.
Yeah.
The one who's into the older son kind of turns to Ben, the star of the show, and like really comes all up on his, right?
She's about this close to his face.
Yeah.
She's a big fan, and she
was
really
much
lets
more
him know.
sensual too.
but she had no facial expression, and she was just reading the lines. But she was just in front of him. She was just, I love your show. We watch it every Tuesday night, and so does my brother, and he is 6 years old.
Even my 6-month-old baby brother loves that show.
Right.
So good.
And you're right. The young one then she's like starts talking about like, I'm gonna fill out someday. I'll be beautiful. Like my daughter would be wildly embarrassed to say anything like that to someone, but she's very clearly saying, I'm going to go through puberty. I'm going to get some big fat fucking milk jugs, and you're going to be all about this shit. You're going to be double milk boning out for me when I get older.
And it's going to be 1969, and people are going to be fucking. And you're not going to be one of them.
Yep. I'm going to have beads around my neck, which means my pussy's open.
That's
right. Something I noticed, too, about this scene is they have really bitchin', like, wooden water skis. I love those.
Okay, can I tell you a story real quick? Are you in a hurry?
I got to get out of here soon, but go ahead.
All right. So one year I went up to Indiana with my grandpa and my great uncle, and they had a pontoon boat, and I saw people water skiing on like speedboats. So they find a buddy of theirs that has these wooden fucking things, and then they put me on the back of a fucking pontoon boat. First of all, these things weigh about 150 pounds apiece. I couldn't get up. I couldn't even get up off the water. You know what I mean? I was like, It was horrible. It was I pulled muscles that I didn't know I had, but they were like, "Come on, it's easy. I used to do this," and I was like, "This is a pontoon boat. The top speed is 30 miles an hour."
Yeah.
And I'm trying to get... so when I saw those, I did have a little bit of a flashback.
Yeah. That's
PTSD.
funny.
Sorry, it wasn't near as good a story as I thought it was.
No, I love that old aesthetic. I actually have an old wooden water ski up at my house because I think they look awesome. I love that wood grain. And so I noticed that immediately. I thought that was really bitchin'. But anyway, someone says, I think the wife comes out for a moment and calls someone a smart apple instead of a smart ass.
Right.
Yeah. I love that. Smart apple? That's ridiculous. His boss then shows up in an awesome, like, old convertible.
A very silent one, which will play into a future scene.
You think someone's back there pushing it?
Like, it was so quiet that I didn't notice it.
It was quiet when he got there.
Right.
But then when he left, he made note to say it was going to be loud, and it was.
Oh, yeah.
Very.
And
like,
so the agent or the producer comes, gives his kid a, like, expensive watch, but before that, goes in between Polly and Ben, right? And he's
holding hands with his wife. His agent or the producer is like he's facing his wife and holding hands with her, right?
And Ben's behind them and watching, and she goes to like give him the little two cheek kiss, the little French thing. He's like, no, I'm from the Mediterranean, and he basically sticks his tongue down her throat.
It was aggressive.
Yeah, it was very aggressive.
He full on assaults that woman.
Oh,
yeah,
with the husband watching.
Yeah,
and
he was fine with it.
Oh, Ben was like, that's just.
He pays my bills.
I've kissed your wife on multiple occasions. But never on the mouth, ever.
Are you sure?
Well, not that you've seen.
Okay,
but I mean that's
fine with
that's
it,
decent. Yeah.
Hey, bros before hoes, right?
I would hope so. Holy Christ, I'd hope so. But that was a little jarring to see that.
Yeah, it was very, very.
I feel like in that time, like in that era, that would not be okay.
It would definitely not be
with
okay.
Me. Like it's not okay with me now.
Right, and you were 13 at the time, and it wouldn't have been okay.
Exactly.
But also, you'll find that this producer, he's just a shitbag. Like he acts like a nice guy, but with women, he's a fucking shitbag.
Dude's a Lothario for sure. He's out there hitting it.
Lothario.
And I'm also wondering why he gave one kid a watch and nothing for anybody else.
Well, the older kid, he just gave him some like words of advice or said, "Hey," or something. But the younger kid got this big old fucking Rolex.
Remember to smack him on the ass, kid. Here's a watch for you.
So he's
a woman loves a guy with bling.
He's totally a Lothario. And Ben then at that point attempts to tell his whole family that he's quitting his show.
Right, he's still trying to tell him.
Yeah,
and they're not even listening. They don't even fucking care.
His producer totally steals the scene by giving like an impassioned speech about opportunity or whatever.
In the United States, he loves He's not from America.
That's the second time he did that.
Yeah. He's not from America, but he came here and he's made his riches, and so he's all about the USA.
Sure. His wife then takes everyone, the girls and the kids, to the beach. And then Ben jumps into Albert's vehicle, and they head to the studio. And here you see the first time the smoking hot secretary.
Yeah, she was a definite babe.
Would you give
a dame?
Now,
a dame, yeah.
Ooh, a dame. Here's something. From time to time, not always, from time to time, when there's a very attractive woman on a pilot,
or something that we just really love,
we tend to give a little bump in our score.
Okay.
Do you think that this secretary could possibly get a secretary bump and raise your score up by 1?
Good question.
Just hold on to it. Don't answer.
We rate at the end, and sometimes our scores are affected by these things we love, and usually things we love are boobs.
Last week you gave a double bump.
I double bumped Terry Hatcher last week because I was meta milk boning out. I was going crazy. Holy Christ, I couldn't even concentrate. So back at the office there with Albert and Ben, Albert's saying how much he loves Ben's wife. And I'd be punching that motherfucker.
Oh, I would
right?
beat the fuck out of him. And the secretary is hot, but she's like really bad at her job. She's stupid. She's like the quintessential dumb secretary.
Oh, for sure. She was hired for one thing and one thing only, and that's her porthole.
I get it, because that's her vagina.
And you said porthole earlier, and now I'm bringing that back to mean her vagina.
We're
That's
just fucking good at this.
We're really very good. Albert then tells Ben about him being like an everyman, a wholesome America's father, and how he needs to stay on the show. He has to, right?
Right. And he's like, I don't want to act. And
which is funny because he's the best actor on the show.
Yeah.
that's very true. So he's like, I got this new contract. Sign this. Mm-hmm. He's like, I want to quit. I want to quit. And he's talked about America and building houses.
He
blah,
loves
blah.
America. Again, the immigrant story. I love it.
Yeah.
Ben says it's final. I am quitting.
And
I used to build houses. Now I make shadows on TV. It's ridiculous.
Right. And then Albert goes like ballistic and jumps on his couch and like points out all these awards. The show's only been on one season.
Yeah.
And it has like 47 fucking awards.
Amazing show.
They're huge awards.
He does get pissed for sure. It is bizarre. He does kind of snap.
Tom Cruise is a couch a minute, yeah.
Yeah. This is the bizarre part of the show. At this point, a delivery is made of a bunch of props or something, and a guy demonstrates some of the physical stunts that'll be on the show.
It's the stuntman for the show.
But it's weird. Yeah. Why would he bring that into the guy's office?
That's what's hilarious.
It's ridiculous, right?
It's so ridiculous. I enjoy this. I enjoy this scene. It
was well done.
Like normally, you'd think you'd see this on a set or a sound stage or something. But maybe this has everything to do with there being such a small budget. And they're like, well, we gotta use the scenes that we have. You know, we got maybe a total of 3 scenes total in the entire show. But I don't know why this is happening in the office. He's got ladders, stairs, a tree branch. You just see him falling around a lot, and then he just picks all this shit up and leaves.
I think what it was like they hired a stuntman. Every
for the roller skate part.
For the roller,
they probably shot it like.
And he's like, hey. You got to be here all day because we're gonna pay you either way. We're gonna add this scene where you fall off a ladder, fall down some popsicle stairs, and then a fake tree branch that's very thick.
It's like it's gonna be $200 for me to hit the skate. All right, and for what else? It's like you got me for the whole day. I was like, fucking throw him down some stairs. Right?
We got a mattress.
Yeah,
right.
Break his fall.
And it's like that's like one of those mattresses. Like I don't want to know the history behind that mattress.
You don't want that. After this, Ben heads to meet his wife at the hospital, and he's greeting a bunch of old folks here.
Yeah, because is it the gray haired club or something? Is what it?
Yeah,
that must have been what that was alluding to.
His wife volunteers. She's like a candy striper at the hospital on the old folks ward, and so she asked him. She's like, just come and shake the hands of all the old ladies. He's like, okay. I love the '60s hairstyles on men, right?
All the pomade,
love all those look.
Yeah.
Throughout the show, Daddy-O, his hair is perfect, except when he goes to talk to these old ladies at the hospital.
I didn't notice that.
Oh, it's like he rushed in to do the scene and nobody was like, stop, continuity, okay.
Or maybe since he was driving in the convertible, it was actually
Rob,
continuity.
I like you, man. I like
you.
This is why he has a good podcast. We should learn something
Attention
from this guy.
to detail.
So yeah, all the old people that Ben is there talking to, they're like, I love your show. Daddy-O is great. It's wholesome television. It means a lot to me. I look forward to it every single week. And then he starts to see the impact of what his silly little art, his silly little show has on people.
Right. And the last old lady he talks to oversells it completely. She's like on her deathbed. It seems like she's like, my family doesn't talk to me anymore. They've all, they don't ever see me. And your show is my family. And I thought to myself, My grandma Virginia would do perfect at this right now because my grandma Virginia is exactly like this. She's a fucking manipulator. This is my grandma's scene.
Yeah.
All right, and she's like, do you know how much this program means to me? You guys are my family. Yeah, sometimes it's a little, dry or whatever, but ultimately, you guys are my family. And Daddy O's is like, holy shit.
I didn't.
Yeah.
I knew the show was a success
Because of all the awards that Albert has.
Because of the dozens of awards, but I didn't realize the emotional impact I was having on people. And it's not. He doesn't even say all this shit out loud. It's just
you just see
he
his
conveys
face.
it with his master of acting.
Yeah.
It touches his heart. So then Ben leaves the room with the old lady, and Ben's out there, and his wife's out there. He's like, God damn it, give me the contract. I'll sign it right here. And his wife nurse approves. She likes it. She's like, yes, thank God.
I can get another vacuum.
They leave. They're like, oh, well,
And they make out a lot.
It is great, right?
Right in front of the elevator. Whenever you see a couple walk to an elevator and push the button, you know they're going to make out because that elevator is going to take forever. And they kiss like 3 times. One time somebody looks over at him and he's like, what are you looking at, creep? And then he sucks his wife's face again.
Well, right then it's revealed that after they leave, that the old woman that really touched Ben, touched his heartstrings, is actually working for the producer the whole time.
Robert,
inside
did you
job.
see that coming? I'm sorry, Rob, not Robert. Sometimes
It's formal.
I'm
I
overly,
like it.
overly formal. Did you see this coming?
I did.
Did you?
I really did.
Okay.
It was pretty transparent.
So I was floored. I couldn't believe it.
I honestly, I had no idea.
I smashed my laptop. This is a new laptop. I couldn't believe what
Blew you off the couch.
Right.
Did you know it was coming too?
No, I didn't really. No, I didn't know.
I thought it was
I'm not
just
very perceptive.
I thought it was just 1960s overacting.
Right.
You know,
I had a feeling that was exactly the whole setup.
Feeling that this old lady is not really who she says. $100.
And yeah, that's exactly right. Albert pays her to have acted this way.
and she takes her
him.
makeup off, and she's like 30 years younger.
Yeah.
She had those deep lines.
Well, before it is
that was what
revealed
was overselling it.
that like she was working for him, she like gets out of bed and comes over to him. And he's like, "Hey, come in this closet." I was like, "I thought he was gonna fuck this old lady."
It got oddly sexual there.
Right?
Oh, that's awesome.
The mood in the air was one of sex.
I was like,
if I've ever seen it.
Someone better start making some sense here pretty quick, or I think he's banging these old broads at the hospital. So Albert gets on the phone and he asks for an outside line, which is a quaint thing that happened back then. And he calls Mrs. Dupree, the hot secretary at his office, and he hits on her. And he's basically saying, "Hey, meet me out later. I'm going to fuck your brains out."
It's after 6 o'clock. And one thing we did not touch on, which I kind of alluded to at the beginning of the show, is the whole episode, the secretary says, yes, Mr. Sharp and honey, calls him honey the whole time.
Yeah.
That shit doesn't happen in real life.
This is what I think. Harvey Weinstein watched shows like this. He's like, this is how you act.
Yeah.
This is the way to be.
Yeah.
It's not the way to be anymore.
It's the way it was.
You can't get away with it.
He's a product of his environment. I'll
Thank
give him a
you.
break.
Boy, this show is a product of turbulence.
Please remain seated as we are now crossing a zone of turbulence.
One episode and then gone. Erased from the history books. No one knows. Daddy-o. Why didn't this show work? What fuck?
No, go ahead. Why it didn't work?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll talk about my problems at the end of the show.
All right. Rob, you saw this show just like we did. You spoke very knowledgeably of it. Is there anything you think here did not work?
No, honestly, I really don't understand why it didn't get picked up. I thought it was, for the time, a really good, different take on a sitcom, family sitcom.
Do you think maybe it was too abstract? It was too meta?
Maybe.
It wasn't.
But I think that's refreshing.
It wasn't. But yeah, to us, it's refreshing.
Yes, that's true.
But back then, it's, hey, we got cigarettes to sell. All right.
True.
This Colgate doesn't sell itself.
Ozzie and Harriet, Dick Van Dyke. These are what sells.
I Love Lucy.
I love Lucy. Would you have had sex with Lucy?
Was she alive back then?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would.
Lucille Ball? I would have had sex with her.
It's as simple as that.
Redheads. The first redhead I ever had, she was a virgin when I took her virginity.
I think we've heard that story before.
And 2 months later, or about a month later, I just never talked to her again.
That's the way to do it. The Harvey Weinstein way.
You seen it out? What about if this survived, though? Where would you see this show going week after week?
That's what I had a problem with. Is what do you?
I honestly don't know.
Yeah, because you don't have.
You've gotten the big reveal in the first episode,
Right.
so
we've referenced this oddly enough a few times. I never even saw the show, but you were watching the most recent adaptation, TV adaptation of The Muppets, where it was a similar kind of thing, where it was a TV show and a behind the scenes.
Sure.
I think there are places to go here. There's a lot. I mean, the show gets picked up. All of a sudden, your budget explodes. You have some money, so you got sound sets. You got all the people that work there. You got his home life. You got his family life. Right. You have all these different avenues and options and different ways that drama can rear its head, and of course comedy too. Because not only did the fake show have a huge laugh track, but the show itself had a laugh track too.
it did, but it was very subtle.
It was
Much
very
more so.
subtle. Yeah.
And that had to have been on purpose, right? To draw the difference between those two things. But I think there is a well of opportunity here for it to continue. But you're right; it may have been too meta for the time, too abstract. People couldn't wrap their minds around. They wanted to see yet another version of Leave It to Beaver or Dennis the Menace.
Now I'm wondering if they pushed it as a show with a lot of twists, or if that was just how the description was written up for the link. Because if they pushed it as a bunch of twists, you're going to run out of twists eventually.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there was two twists. One was that there was a show was inside the show, and two, the old lady was fake.
I feel like the only other twist they could have added is that the secretary is actually really smart.
Right.
And that's about it.
Or that she has a penis.
Or that.
That would have been
Now
hilarious.
that would have blown people's minds in the 60s.
Fucking blown them out of the water.
The credits is just her lifting up her skirt and there's a huge cock under there.
Nice.
Oh boy.
But to be honest with you, she was still really pretty.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have to go, okay.
Cock or not, she was great, right?
Cock or not.
Ladies and gentlemen, as we start our descent,
Don't worry, Rob, it's almost over. Poor guy.
Full upright position.
IMDb. We go to IMDb and there's a score there, right? Ooh. People have rate it 1 to 10 with decimal points in place. I always say, what do you guys think it was scored? Rob, you have a guess?
Ooh. Are these recently rated?
The ratings come from, from whenever IMDb started. So it's probably 15 years worth of ratings.
Okay. I'm going to say in the low fours.
Okay.
I'll say about 4.3.
4.3.
6.5.
As he always does. Just like a similar episode, reverse that shit. It's a 5.6, but that's only from 8 ratings.
Wow.
So just past the bare minimum of ratings to show up on IMDb, but a rating nonetheless. Viewer reviews. Surprisingly good considering ... This is 7 out of 10 stars from Plankton Rules, who we've seen time and time again.
Plankton Rules has been...
He might as well be a guest on the show. Right?
You know what? We should dig in to try to see if we can find him. Listen, dude.
From Bradenton, Florida.
You loser. All you do is watch failed pilots and then rate them on IMDb.
He could be a listener.
You fucking loser.
Yeah.
We do the exact same
Don't
thing.
worry, Rob. We know he's not a listener. He's not one of the 7 people that download this show.
Plankton Rules, you're in good company. Daddy-O was a failed TV pilot from 1961. Apparently, the network's exec saw little to recommend the show as it was never picked up as a series. It's a shame. The show was very unusual. Perfect? Far from it, but it had promise. Parody of the sitcom biz. This is from Skidoo from the United States of America. 4 out of 10 stars.
You can too.
Sorry. All pilots need polishing, in some cases even recasting and reworking. This might have developed into something good as the Dick Van Dyke Show and That Girl did. They both had major renovations done on them and both showed the insanity that exists in the world of entertainment against the backdrop of an average person's life. This pilot needed improvement to be watchable week after week. It crammed too much into a half hour in order to set the stage for the rest of the episodes. And there wasn't enough difference in tone between the faux family and the real family life. So the result was a mess.
I don't think they crammed too much in. We've seen a lot of, pilots where they crammed a whole. They set the table. They put all those forks and spoons where they're supposed to go.
Yeah. I think if they really focused on that fake family on television, that may have been cramming too much. There's plenty of opportunity to get to know them later as the series would have progressed, but
you had to show that it was
that it existed.
Right? Yeah. And the way to do that is a hard intro.
Yeah,
apparently
startling.
But I think those are good reviews, thoughtful reviews. Maybe not exactly mirroring what we think, but that's fine. because they don't have to mirror what we think, because we're going to tell you what we think right now.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to FC
10 years.
Airport.
10 years of
Local time is
podcasting.
11:11, and the temperature is 69 degrees. For your
boy.
safety and comfort, please
Hey,
remain seated.
they weren't all good years.
Most of them. Past 4. Right, past 4.
Past 4 kicked
Past
ass.
4 been great.
The suicide episode, not good.
Still haven't heard it. Who referenced that? Tyler referenced that, right?
I think so, yeah.
1 to 7. That's the scale we work with. This is separate from IMDb. I don't want to confuse anyone
Right.
here, okay? No decimal points are in play. Don't give us decimal points. That's frowned upon.
People do like 1 to 10. People do like 1 to 5. Like Amazon does like a 1 to 5.
Ridiculous.
Apple Podcast does a 1 to 5. Those are stupid.
1 to
do
7.
a 1 to 7, not a 7 to 1.
1
1
to
to
7.
7.
That's the scale based on the popular television series from the 1990s called Wings. What are you laughing about? We take all the characters, 1 to 7. 1 being the worst, it's Roy Biggins. 7 being the best, it's Brian Hackett. Rob from the Hyper Uppercut podcast, I turn to you. How do you rate Daddy-O?
I'm going to give it a 4.
Ooh.
Slightly above mediocre.
Okay.
I thought it was watchable.
All right.
I would have tuned in for if it was on Nick at Night. I probably would have watched it back
Yeah.
when.
Oh, good. Yeah, good.
Back
point
when
of
I was
reference.
watching like Bewitched and all of those shows.
Yeah. That's a good reference. Captain Philip, rest assured, I turn to you. How do you rate Daddy-O?
Well, I had to give it a secretary bump.
No
Oh.
doubt.
I would have had
I forgot my bump, but that's.
Do you want no, before I say mine, you can still change anything.
I will give it a bump for the
you're
secretary. So,
gonna
I'm
give
going to
it-
give it a 5.
Okay. All right. Me and Rob.
I forgot the bump existed.
Never forget it, the bump.
Don't forget those bumps.
Never again.
Me and Rob, straight
Never forget.
on. I give it a bump. We give it a 5. Once I got over the initial shock of what the fuck was going on, it wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
Except for that creepy teenage girl who got run up in everybody's face and just read her lines like this. Other than that, I enjoyed it. I got a kick out of it, but it didn't wow me.
Yeah.
But it was tolerable. I mean, I didn't have to put any cream on it.
I think it was excellently paced.
Yes,
which made
very
it
much so, yes.
watchable.
There was never a point where I had to pause and like, how much fucking time
Right.
is it?
Right.
Because we watch so much of this shit, Rob. Eventually, it's like you pause and you're like, we're only 10 minutes in and this is 90 fucking minutes?
Right.
Are you kidding me? I didn't do that once with this show.
That's how I felt about Twin Peaks. But
Oh, which one? The newer one?
no, the original.
Yeah. There's
I was
some
like,
there's some
holy
dragging
shit, this is
episodes.
long.
You watch you want to really hurt yourself in your mind and your brain, look up The Tribe.
Legally Blonde. With
The
Crystal
movie?
Cube. No.
Oh.
The Legally Blonde was a TV show, pilot show. Oh. It was awful. I'm now watching on Netflix The Punisher, and it's not bad. There are scenes in The Punisher where you're thrown into something, and eventually they will tell you what's going on, but they don't hold your hand every step of the way. They understand that audiences have a level of intelligence that they can figure shit out. Everything doesn't need to be spoon-fed to me. Such is the case with Daddy-O.
It was
Yeah.
abrasive, though. It was an abrasive beginning.
It was abrasive.
All of a sudden, there was this girl at the dinner table that says, "Nobody understands me." How do I know she's not talking about rape?
Yeah.
Or she got
Could've been
pregnant,
anything. Yeah.
right? She could have given her first blowjob.
Yeah, I think that's where everyone's mind went immediately until they were talking about a dance only 30 seconds later.
I still thought it might have been about a blowjob. You know?
Right, yeah.
People do crazy shit at dances.
There was rape going on back then.
The BJ dance, that'd be a great dance to get to.
I love the BJ
The
dance.
BJ Under the Sea.
Under the sea.
I agree with you guys. This is a 5. 5s all around.
Wow.
I-
Hold hand club.
I enjoy this. This was good. It was well acted. It was well paced. It was well burped. There was. Oh, God. Yeah, one more. Give me one more. Okay.
Excellent.
Rob's going to go back to HyperCut. The motherfuckers have no fucking
No,
tact whatsoever.
dude, Jason vapes on the show, and I'm like,
I hear him vape all the time.
I know. And I'm just like, please stop.
And the reason he can hear that is because he used to do it all the time
Yeah.
on the show too. But this is, I think this is good. There was a fresh idea, and anytime a show has a fresh take on things, I like to give it a little bump.
Yeah.
I have a handful of examples that we've seen over the years, and I think this falls in there. It's not your typical fare, and for that, it's above average for me. It gets a 5. I say this is watchable. It could have been something better than it was. Maybe America wasn't ready for that.
Yeah.
And with that, we close the book on Daddy-O, and we will never mention it again. Ever. But join us next time, won't you please, when we watch the pilot episode of Steel Magnolias.
No.
Here's a little
No.
something. It's set in stone. It's set in Steel Magstolium.
Fuck me.
Here's a little something to wet your whistle. You know, this is what I like about you, Blake. This is what I like about you. You sit back and you say, I'll post the shit, I'll do whatever, but I want you to find shows that people are going to be interested in. People that they know things about. This is an example of that.
I know it is.
And it's less than 30 minutes. This isn't even a 90-minute drag
Okay.
along.
All right. Well, that's what I was worried about. I thought it was a 90-minute.
No, this is a 30
Rob,
minute.
when he said Steel Magnolias, tell me in the back of your mind you didn't just go, I'm glad that's not my fucking podcast.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be a long one, yeah. I figured.
It's,
All right,
it's
I'm
a
fine.
sitcom. It's
I'm
30
fine.
minutes. Here's a little something to wet your whistle, Blake. A young beautician, newly arrived in a small Louisiana town, finds work at a local salon where a small group of women share a close bond of friendship and welcome her to the fold. Holy crap. Here's a
This
little...
show is built on the back of his back burps.
You can find the entire episode by subscribing to Couch Pilots in Apple Podcasts or your favorite podcast app of choice, and then simply click on one of our classically blue links in our show notes, or go to YouTube, everybody.
And you know what to do, too. That's all right, Rob. We'll do it again.
I'm sorry.
And 1, 2, 3.
And you know what to do, too.
All right. So 1, 20, 12. Okay.
Some people just tune in to hear that phrase.
Okay.
And we have to give it
I
to
let
them.
the audience down.
There'll be times when
usual.
I don't see it on YouTube. It's on Daily Motion, and we were forced to say, download the app for Daily Motion and check out
all the
commotion.
But
then there was Vimeo and...
you fucking figure it out. They don't all have to rhyme, all right, Rob? But people, they want to hear you know what to do too, but they tune in for that, so we have to give it to them.
Right. It's a staple.
It is a staple. But how do people contact us?
Woo, so many ways. First of all, you can go to our Instagram.
That's how we say it.
Check this one out. It's couch_pilots_podcast. I'm a complete fucking idiot. I apologize.
You're really down on yourself for that.
But if you go ahead and just follow us, you won't have to worry about looking at the screen name for it. Twitter, it's Couch Pilots Pod. On Facebook, it's Couch Pilots. But the most
Couch Pilots Podcast on Facebook, I think, right?
If you put in Couch Pilots, there's only it's us and a band called Couch Pilots.
Wouldn't that be great if there's like 40 or 50 options for Couch Pilots on Facebook?
That would be hilarious. But the central hub you can go to is couchpilotspodcast.com.
It's all there.
We love when people call us on the telly. We have a telly. You guys have a dial-in number?
Hell no.
You need to get one.
910 Pilots 1, that's 910-745-6871. It goes directly to Captain Phillips, rest assured's phone number. He has what I like to call a slight case of insomnia. So to help him out, call him in the middle of the night. He won't be sleeping. He won't be entering his REM sleep at all. Call him in the middle of the night. It's fine. Leave a message then, or talk directly to him, whatever you like.
Yeah, I haven't had REM sleep in a long time, so don't worry about it.
Who needs it, right?
Call whenever you want to. But we want to hear from you. That's one of the, I would say, when I look at the numbers for Couch Pilots, I get depressed.
Grab a Prozac.
I grab a Prozac. But I think to myself, because that's how I refer to myself.
Sure.
I'm like, all these people that communicate with the show and interact with the show, it's worth more than a download. And so people don't stop doing it. We love interaction.
Yeah, and you know what else we love? We love going to Amazon.com.
Love Amazon.com.
I was just there yesterday.
What did you buy there? Can you talk about it?
50-gallon drum of lube.
Nice. Did you use the
super cheap? I did.
Oh, did you use the
I
portal?
used our link.
Oh, that's great. I you know what? I want to hug you right now. Yeah. So it's December 18th. This is crunch time. You don't have much time. Go use the link in our show notes. Go to Amazon. It's just the regular Amazon. It's not a weird Amazon. It's the regular Amazon where you can find anything you want. You want clothes for your puppy. Get it.
You want Band-Aids.
You want... God damn, that's where I go get Band-Aids. Toilet paper, food, digital downloads, Vigigames.
Yeah.
Right? I think Rob probably bought a Vigigame.
Oh yeah,
A few.
Did you? Oh yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it doesn't cost you any more. You just go through that link. Whatever you buy, we get a little itty bitty kickback from Amazon. I think right now our account is up to 25 cents, and we're fucking cha-ching, cha-ching. But it helps us out, and it helps you out too, because you are not procrastinating anymore. You're gonna have to cut out a picture and put it in a box and wrap it and say, "I waited too long."
Yeah. They'll even gift wrap it for you for free.
Rob, this is why you're a good guy. That's why we have you here.
Just saying.
Perfect. So, Amazon.com, go through our link in our show notes, and you know what to Amazon.
Yeah, we didn't come up with a phrase for that.
Man.
Rob, we want to thank you so much for being with us
Definitely.
today.
Well, thank you for having me.
How do folks check out Hyper Upperlink?
Hyper Upperlink. You can check out our
I apologize.
Hyperlink.
What I was trying to say was, where's the link to Hyper Uppercut?
There you go. We are on Facebook and SoundCloud. You can just search Hyper Uppercut. It should be the first result. Facebook, I believe, is Hyper Uppercut Podcast, all one word. SoundCloud is also Hyper Uppercut, I believe. I'm very unprepared. I don't run any of this stuff.
fine.
I make the graphics and I just talk a lot and
good.
edit. That's about all I do.
I think
We're on Instagram as well, though.
I typed in Hyper Uppercut the other day into like Google images, and it was like of the first 10 images. I think there's a lot of like Ryu doing some crazy shit.
Of course.
But you were right up there.
Hey,
so
good.
if you
All
are,
right.
are looking for Hyper Uppercut podcast, you will very easily find it.
Right.
Yeah.
a great show.
It's pretty easy to come by. And I don't know about great, but it's there. It's there for your listening.
That's what we say about our show. It
Rob,
exists.
after 10 years of podcasting, the one thing I've learned is when anybody gives you a compliment about your show, you take it and you suck on it and you suck the juice out of it and you
Milk it for all it's worth.
Exactly.
You
Very much.
leave that dry husk. left
Someone
behind.
once said, "You guys got better," and I was like, "Thank you,
That's all you can say is get better.
amazing."
No, it's a good show. And like I said, I'm not a video game guy, but I still enjoy listening to you guys banter, and I definitely like the Final Cut.
Yeah, thank you. We appreciate
I
that.
don't know what you got to do to get on that show. Right?
It's a long list of shit.
I guess so. Like, Dustin had, unlocked the key.
He did some stuff.
Yeah, whatever
It was wild.
Dustin had to do, I don't know if I'm willing to do those same things.
I'm just saying.
It's all right.
We'll discuss it when the
That'll be fair. That's fair.
We'll take this
recording
offline.
Yeah.
No. Just joking.
Captain, rest assured, is there anything else you'd like to say to our frequent flyers before we go today?
Yes, I fucked up. I fucked up big time. Last week, that came out on the 11th of December.
Oh, this is the thing you were going to mention earlier.
I was going to mention earlier two things. Deuce things. First of all, we have a Patreon page. All right?
Okay, yeah.
It's patreon.com/couchpilots. We have some great rewards. Definitely check it out. If you don't know what Patreon is, then don't even go to it because you're not going to know anyway. But
no, dude.
it's
Patreon's a wonderful platform.
It is, and I think I creatively came up with some cool tiers. Jason seemed to think that I volunteered him for stuff.
He sold me out on some shit. No, but seriously, Patreon is a site where you can donate money to people for their art,
Right, we're just-
or their craft or their content.
And everything that all I think I have 4 tiers. They're all reasonable. It's just to keep the lights on. It's not, hey, I want to go to Hawaii.
No one's paying their personal bills here with money we make from
Right.
podcasts. It's just something that we do that have a lot of fun. And then, but it costs a little bit for this hobby. And if you enjoy it, why not make a monthly commitment of $1, $2, $5, whatever it is.
You're getting something back. The rewards, tiers are great.
Yeah.
And also, Karaoke Big E.
Oh, you're promoting Karaoke Big E.
Well,
awesome.
Yeah, I think in January, I think it's the 9th, I think is when it's...
It'll be out in just a few weeks, yeah.
If you guys listen to IBWIP and Broken Funny Bone, you guys know Big E, and he loves karaoke. A great new show he's developing. People come on, talk about a song that they're what it means to them or whatever.
Every guest comes heavy with 2 songs, right?
Right, and they talk about what the song means to them or whatever, and then they do karaoke.
There's a third song in there, and Big E's already got all the social media platforming set up. So if you want to follow him on there and suggest songs, because there will be a third song they sing in there, and you can suggest that song, and him and Kevin will be singing that for you.
Yeah, it's great. It's something different, right?
It's fun. I've never heard of a show like that, but we said, Biggie is so involved with the network. He loves it so much. What are his strengths? What is he like? And this is right up his alley. His face lights up every time he talks about it. I think if you listen to Karaoke Biggie, what you're going to do is you're going to hear a man who's truly enjoying himself, unlike this show.
Unlike this, where it's miserable every time. But other than that, I don't really want to say
anything. Other than that, that's it? Okay.
Rest assured, I am going to request Freebird every single week.
as well, you rest assured. And with that, this pilot may have been rough, but it's always a smooth flight here on Couch Pilots. Thanks, everyone, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, Rob.
On behalf of Couch Pilots and the entire crew, we'd like to thank you for joining us on this trip, and we are looking forward to seeing you on board again in the near future. Have a nice day.
This has been a Fakakta Comedy Funhouse production, produced by Jason Tosher, executive produced by Blake Clayton. For more information and content, go to fcfnetwork.com.